Hello guys, welcome. Just going to do a quick audio test. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. We're here in Leipzig to look around. I just thought, today I got the stream ready nice and early, unlike a few days ago. Last week actually, we obviously had some issues with X-Plane crashing and whatever, so I thought today, let's just set it early, just in case we had some issues. But actually X-Plane was very well behaved today, so that's kind of nice. Anyways, we're here in Leipzig at the cargo ramp as we are taking some cargo. No, I don't know what cargo we're taking. It's 15,000 kilos, so let's just say quite a bit. Although we're not actually that heavy, so I don't know. The 757 can definitely go heavier than 15,000 kilos of fuel. Not fuel, cargo. Because we're actually going up to quite a high cruise altitude today for the 75. Going up to 38,000 today, so we're obviously not very heavy. And flight time today should be about 2 hours. I thought it'd be a bit less, but I always remember along Germany, heading to Leipzig, you do tend to go with a headwind out of Leipzig and a bit of a tailwind into Leipzig, so that's that. We're taking a pretty shortcut route though. The Eurocontrol route is one that routes over London and then go north, so it's 760 miles. This one I saved 50 miles by doing just cutting over the north of England, another route that Simbrief gave me, so we'll take that one. Anyway, let's get the aircraft powered up because it's cold and dark. So I'll put the standby power into auto and get the battery on. And it should all come to life. Just check that I've got everything loaded in. So we've got our GPU connected and our chocks connected. We'll just get the loader unit connected as well. And the luggage loaders and the stairs. And then we'll get our doors open, ready for loading. And we want to make sure the fuel truck is here as well. There we go, so you can see now everything should be opened and all ready to go. There we go, excellent. So we're already connected on the Vatsim network, already started all my flight tracking. I'm nice and organised today. Right, GPU is connected, so we can go and get the external power on, and we'll get our bus ties on so everything can start turning on. Let it all boot up, and I'll just grab the weather here in Leipzig. We're using the runway 26 left here today. So it'll be quite a long taxi because we're parked right next to 08 right. So it'll be a full length taxi on the runway. But we're not going all the way up to 26 right. That's really far away. QNH here is 1033. Wow, got a high pressure here today then. Let's get that set. That explains why we were in negative altitude. There we go, 1033. So we're looking for 3051. I like to do it in altimeter on this plane, as in making sure that the two altimeters are matched, because it's not exact with the QNH. But the first one I set with the QNH, but you know what I mean. Right, emergency lights, go ahead and let's do our flow. Actually, before we do flows, we'll get everything set up. I think it actually makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? So, cargo today, fuel, we're looking for 10,100 kilos, and we're looking for a zero fuel weight of 74.8. So, is that 6 pallets? Is that right? Yeah, 74.8. That looks quite heavy. Actually, I think we can take a few more. How many pallets can we take? Actually, right, it's not that heavy then. So, there you go. What we'll do, we'll take 4,100 on the cargo. There you go, 74.8. Optimised CG. You can see there, 24% CG weights there, so that's fine. And we'll go ahead and load that. So that's going to get loaded now. Just check I'm using the correct FMC. Oh, great. Rip. How do I Oh, that's not good. How do I... Oh, okay, I'm using the PIP FMC, which is not the one I want to be using, because that's the one that gives you a really inaccurate ETA, but it does give you V-speeds. It's that one. So it gives you V-speeds, but it doesn't give you the original FMC. It doesn't give you an accurate ETA. Alright, well, I guess we're using the PIP FMC today then. Good job, really, because what I meant to do before streaming the 757 next is to memorise, well, not memorise, but dig up the tables for calculating the V-speeds. There's a series of calculation charts for digging them up, and I haven't read them. I've found them, but I haven't read them, so maybe it's good that we're using the PIP FMC. It means we get accurate V-speeds. Anyway, let's get that in there, and then we're just going to start... Well, actually, we'll put the RSs into nav, left side, right side, and then centre. And then once we have started putting in the IRS position, that's when we will... So we should get a thing up on there. And we're at gates, we're at stand 205, I think? No, 207. It doesn't get registered in there. So what we're going to do is we'll just grab the airport position. Actually, you know what? We can type in the coordinates, actually. Because in this, you know, that's what we like to do. We like to be nice and realistic. So we're at stand 207. So stand 207, the coordinates are north. So north 51. 24.5. It shouldn't, you don't need the spaces, I don't think. And then east 012. 12.1, and it should put that in automatically. There we go. So that's now the position. That is gate 207 in there in our IRS. So that should be aligning now. Just check that it does say align up there. It does. Right, let's do our flows then. We'll get the electric engine continuous things on. Your damper can come on, but it won't turn on until a bit later. It's fine. I like to put these into USB. I don't actually know how much of a difference it makes, but I do it anyway. Utility bus, that can come on. And these are in off. Engine limiter can go on. Window heats can come on. And this can go to auto 1. Landing altitude, we're currently at 500 feet here in Leipzig, so 480 it was. And there you go, that's that. And packs, we want to both go into auto. Reset fans and trim air, and then we want to get that ran to auto. There. Okay, that's the plane all set up for now then. So what we'll do now, we'll just start planning the flight. So I'm going to go to our position in it, and then route EDDP. We're going down to EIDW today. No ATC at the moment. It's not looking like Eurocontrol West are online, so we might... Actually, I don't think we are passing through their airspace later on. We might just hit it. I don't know. Call sign say is, of course, with cargo, so Skyway 7032. So there you go, that's in there. And we are departing off runway 26 left. It's a very long route, this now. Be prepared. Runway 26 left. It's going to be the Odlun 5 Sierra. That's that in there, done. Odlun is going to be Y233 to M-Box. It's a really long route, this. So, be prepared. M-Box. Obviously, the IRSs will take a while to align and all that, so we can get everything ready while that's happening. And then it's going to be L986. Goes to DLE. And then it's going to be L602. Oh, hang on a minute. Have I put something in wrong? No, yeah, L980. Skipped one. L980 to Flevo. Then it's going to be L602 to Spy. That's a VOR, I think, or something like that. Spy. And it's going to be direct to Ravlo. So it's quite a long route, this, even though it's only like an 800-mile flight. Y70 In the US, you literally have 2 waypoints for this this length of flight. To Otbed. There's definitely a lot more airways in Europe. Otbed, L60 to Penal, which is the waypoint that everyone likes to joke about. Put that in there, because everyone thinks it's so hilarious, the name. And then it'll be UL28. I've actually changed this last bit of the route to the Eurocontrol route, so it's a bit different to what Simbrief initially gave me. I'm pretty sure it should be okay. I was just doing it to make sure it aligned that part of the route with the Eurocontrol one, and it didn't give me any like altitude constraints, which the other one was giving me. M145 to Bagzo, and that's it there. So it's actually not too long of a flight. Activate, execute. Performance initialization, we've got 10.1 kilos of fuel, so we can begin to do that. 74.8 and 84.9. We're actually looking for 84.6, although that's takeoff weight, so that does count a couple hundred kilos burned on taxi, so that's fine. And in terms of reserve fuel today, there we are. We're looking at 1.9 and 1.3, so 2.9, 3.3 on the reserve fuel. And cruise altitude is 380. Also, none of the fuel calculations or anything will be done accurately in this flight, because the PIP FMC that I'm using here that gives you V-speeds is rubbish at working out ETAs, sadly. Flaps 5 on takeoff it'll be today, and select V-speeds on. Thrust, we're going to do 45 degrees. Centre of gravity is in there, 3.9 on the trim. That's the speed brake. What am I doing? There, that's set. The weather radar can go to weather and turbulence, and then we'll put that to +2 so I can look at that later. And the trim, yes, we need to set the trim to 3.9. You can see it's currently on 4.5, so we just want to adjust it. Actually, I don't think I'll be able to adjust this until after we've set up the hydraulics, so we'll do that later. Right, switch ourselves onto Unicom, bring that armrest up. Squawk can be set to 2200. And we'll just leave it in standby mode for now. Make sure this is clicked so we can hear, so we can receive stuff on the radios as well as transmit. And that should be it now. I think we're basically done. We're just waiting for the IRSs to align, which can be quite slow in this thing. No smoking signs on. Seatbelts on, because for some reason we have seatbelts in a cargo plane. And I just want to have a look then. Oh, I forgot to do maintenance. Oh, we're okay. We're okay. I forgot to do maintenance. Actually, no, we can do it. I thought you couldn't do it on a loaded airplane, but there you go, I've done it now. And it even says no faults or malfunctions detected anyway. So yeah, we want to go to in-flight, and you can see the option for P8 isn't there, so that means we can't do a safety briefing, and that means the cabin crew won't nag us about not doing one later, because we can't do one. Right, all the brakes are into RTO. Just make sure we reset the clock and then put it to hold. And I think we are basically ready now. Excellent. So I think we're basically ready. What I'm going to do now is actually we can get the flight directors on. Actually, don't put those on yet. We're not quite ready. Just to actually check our restrictions out of Leipzig. So it's going to be departing, and then it's going to be a right turn after 1,300 feet at that waypoint there to DP528. Nothing about being above 3,900 though. At DP528, it doesn't mention anything. I suspect it's correct. But it doesn't mention anything. Well, who knows? We'll keep it on there anyway, even though it doesn't mention it. And then it heads to Dublin, and there's no restrictions at all. So we're going to be setting cruise altitude in here. Again, 38,000, very high for a 757. Typically, we'd be expecting more like 35, 36 in this aircraft. And we're going to set runway heading for departure, which is going to be 263. There. Right, the IRSs are not aligned yet. This can go into map mode. This can go onto the progress page. You can see it doesn't know where we are yet, so we can ignore those weird distance figures that were being given. I'm going to go ahead and start the APU up, because I think by the time it's started up, we should... And we'll get this fuel pump on as well. Actually, fuel has finished loading now, so we can actually load all the pumps. All the fuel pumps can be turned on. And we'll get the hydraulics on as well. And then we'll get the APU bleed on and the ISO valve on as well. And then that can just... actually, we don't want the APU bleed until the APU started, so we'll wait for that to happen. And the IRSs should be aligned any moment now. They typically take about 7 to 10 minutes. And we'll head outside then, we'll have a quick look at what's going on. Looks like there's another plane on the ground here. Yes, Lufthansa... Oh, wait a minute, looks like someone's joining us going... Leipzig Air 3017. Got someone else going down to Dublin, that's interesting. And they're looking like... they're also taking the same route as us. That's interesting. They're not watching the stream, are they? They literally connected 2 minutes ago and they've got exactly the same route as us. Who knows? Interesting. Well, it looks like we've got someone doing the same route as us today then. I think LHA is, yeah, Leipzig Air, so they're flying with their virtual airline. Who knows? Well, there you go, someone's doing the same route as us, maybe it's just by coincidence. Right, APU gen on, external power off, so we've switched over. And we can get the APU bleed on now. And the duct pressure rises, good. So we're now ready to go, we just need to wait for those IRSs to finish. And then we can go, so, and you know what, let's get all our doors and everything shut. So we're ready to depart. Shocks off, parking brake is set. So all that's gone now, and we're going to go ahead and shut the doors. And then we're literally just waiting then for the IRSs to finish aligning, and it shouldn't take them too long. We can get our anti-collision lights on, our position lights on while we're waiting. I think we're all done now, we're all ready to go. Now, because we have power, I can actually ask better pushback to get ready. Obviously, I can't push back yet, because I'm not yet ready. We're going to be pushing back that way. Obviously, yeah, so I can't... Oh, in fact, there you go. The IRSs have aligned, so perfect timing. But they're ready for pushback, so we want to get LNAV... Oh, yeah, flight directors at left side, then right side. LNAV and VNAV, and then we can arm the auto throttle. There we go, everything's ready now for departure out of Leipzig. Just need to wait for the pushback target to be ready. Parking brakes are set, waiting for him. Sounds good. And then I just want to check then that the X-Pilot is picking up my voice. It is good. Just need to wait for the... and the recording is good. Okay. So we're ready to go then. Pretty quick, after just 15 minutes almost. Yeah, just a little bit longer because we had to wait for those IRSs to align, but pretty good. Yeah, in the end, even though
all doors and hatches are closed,
I always think starting from cold and dark takes forever, it's actually not too bad. Obviously we'll get the IRS's nav only warning that happens. That means, because this thing doesn't have a GPS on board, which is why you have to enter in coordinates at the start, or get the coordinates from the airport. But I've learned that getting coordinates from the airport lead to the IRS's not being as accurate, so it's a good idea to make sure you set them using the coordinates given, because for some reason in the sim, it never seems to recognise anything. Right, can I set the trim now? Yes, I can. I think I can set the trim. So 3.9 we're looking for, remember?
Now connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Parking brake's released.
Starting pushback.
Leipzig traffic, Skyway 7032, push and start, stand 207. Right, so we're going to start being pushed back. We can go ahead and start our engines. We're going to do engine 1 first. I think it's engine 1, that one. Anyway. I'm actually going to set the temperature to 40 degrees on takeoff. I think that's about the sweet spot on this thing. Right. Go ahead and introduce fuel. We introduced fuel quite early in this aircraft. I always thought you had to wait until about 20% N2 is usually what you have to wait for, but I've tried waiting and it actually starts shutting the engine down again because you didn't introduce fuel. So, obviously that's wrong, otherwise the engine would be able to start, wouldn't it? Although the temperature has gone a little high, is that supposed to happen? Oh, there you go, it started coming down now. We're alright. Yeah, the temperature went a teeny bit high then. I don't think we've got any... No, got no failures, because obviously you do have failures in this aircraft. They can happen. They're quite rare, I think, but you can get them. Right. Go ahead and turn on engine 1 now, because that engine's finished. And there you go, this engine's now firing up. We'll introduce fuel. We'll see if this one goes overheated, because I've never noticed the engines overheat on startup before. Yeah, this one's not overheating. Oh, actually, maybe it is. Yeah, no, look, it reaches about 720 and then starts dropping temperature again. Oh, no, it did hit overheat. Just, but not as high. It was 40 degrees lower. We'll see what they hit once they're fully fired up, I guess. Right. And we'll set our flaps to 5 for takeoff. There you can see we're pushing back here now. It'll be quite a long taxi, so got that. Right, the engines are now fully started. They're in auto, which is good. And that means we can get the engine gens turned on. You can see the plane's just switched itself over. So we can go ahead and get the APU. Actually, no, you keep the APU gen on until you've turned off the APU. So we'll turn that off. And we'll get the engine bleeds on. That's why it went silent for a little bit there. And then once the APU is fully turned off, we'll then get the APU gen off. And all the fuel pumps are on. Check our recall. You can see there's nothing there, so that means we've set everything up good.
Please set parking brake.
Okay, parking brakes are set. In there.
Disconnecting
TCAS can come on obviously a bit early on Vatsim, because people need to be able to see where you are. Get the weather radar on, it's on +2, so we won't see the ground or anything popping up on the weather radar, at least we shouldn't. And then we're going to taxi basically to the left and then all the way down Tango, and we're going full length Tango, and then we're going to probably use either Sierra 10 or Sierra 9 to line up on the runway, so a bit of a longer taxi today. And we'll see what that Lufthansa does. I said I don't know whether he's seen our stream or something, and it's just like, it's a bit weird to have a Lufthansa, no, not Lufthansa, what am I about, Leipzig Air, to just randomly spawn in with exactly the same route as us. It's not exactly the same route, because I changed my route slightly, but yeah, we'll see. See what it does, I guess. Doesn't really, I guess it just felt like also flying the same route today, maybe.
Tower is disconnected.
Who knows?
Bypass pin has been removed.
Right, so there's that message alert. That means we need to turn the APU gen off. There we go. And they've now disconnected. Leipzig traffic, Skyways 7032, taxi via Tango to holding point Sierra 9, runway 26 left. Oh, I accidentally knocked the flaps back to 1 then, we'll put them back into 5. Right, off we go. This thing does take quite a bit of power to actually get moving, so there's that. There we go, and then we'll just check that the steering works and that the brakes work. I don't want to repeat of what happened when I was in Madeira with this plane. I ended up in the sea, because the brakes didn't work. So that was an interesting one. So this thing's always a pain to get moving off the ground, and then we want to make sure then we press, actually, it's in this plane, it's the rudder that you use, isn't it, I think? I've forgotten what key it is for the rudder in X-Plane. That's a bit stupid. I was positive it was... Right, is this plane going to start moving? It's going really slowly. Right, hit A. There you go, so we can now steer it with the yoke, I think. Or not. Alright, looks like the keys have been broken, so Q for that, and then R for that. So now we use Q and R for the rudder. I'm positive that's what it is by default, but I don't know. And then I guess we need to use quite a bit of power. What's going on? We're not actually moving. Okay, we are moving now. This plane's being quite odd. It seems to need quite a bit of power to get it moving today. Oh, hang on a minute. I know why we haven't set Unridiculous. Ignore me. It's because on this PC I have extra buttons on my yoke versus my joystick, so I use the rudder on the rudder controls are on my yoke, not the keyboard. That's why they weren't working. Never mind, it's working now. Don't worry. And then we need to slow down a little bit, down to Also, I think I've got it to set brakes maximum, the joystick. I think I've got it on hold brakes maximum. We'll keep it there, actually, because, yeah, I think hold brakes regular isn't enough in this aircraft, so it's either, it barely stops the aircraft, or it does a really hard stop, but obviously hard stop's better, because at least you can still stop. Right, everything's set now for departure, so... FMC message. What do you mean insufficient fuel? Oh, I know. It's because we set our reserves at 3.3. Remember this, obviously our reserves won't be 100% accurate, but then on top of that, we did use a bit of fuel, and then on top of that, it's also, this FMC, the PIP FMC, is very, it's very unreliable when it comes to think you don't put in cruise wind, which means that the ETA it gives you is totally wrong. Every time. It's never right. Like, on a 6-hour flight, it got the ETA initially wrong by an hour. It's that bad. Which is why I meant to change it, but you can only do it before you load the aircraft. And in this aircraft, once you click load, you have to wait for it all to load so you can unload it, so it was just tough by that point. Oh, I just remembered from looking at that, we haven't actually set the IRS. Not the IRS, the altimeter down there. I noticed it said negative. It doesn't matter, because that's a standby altimeter, but you tend to still set it. And then transition altitude here, I believe, is 6,000 feet. Maybe it's 5,000. I'll have a look. 5,000 it is. I've got no ACC today, apart from Real Control West. However, they only cover as far west as France. Apparently, they do cover Ireland according to Vatsim. However, they don't actually cover Ireland. If you look at their list of stations covered that they give in their remarks, I think it must be a bug with Vatsim, or obviously it's been updated since, maybe. Because this build of Vatsim is 10 years old, so... And they have released new updates since, but the changelog doesn't mention anything about changing the world map, so... I don't know. Getting good FPS here, actually. Getting 50 FPS today. It's what I love about the 757. It's great. Right, you know what? I'm just going to change our reserves now, so that this doesn't freak out all day about having insufficient fuel. A reserve of 2 is usually enough. What it is, the reason we're probably suffering with not having enough reserve is it's probably planned a stupid alternate. Oh, actually, Simreef has planned quite a good alternate. It's planned Manchester. So it's actually not that far away. Sometimes it'll plan a stupid alternate, Simreef. Sometimes it plans one that's, like, really far away, when it shouldn't. Right, there you go. There's the Lufthansa cargo. It's spawned in as an Ethiopia 777. Obviously, it's a 777 cargo. Actually, I'm not even sure if it is a cargo. Oh, it isn't the cargo, otherwise it's probably marked as a trip. Actually, it might not be marked. I don't know, I thought Leipzig Air did mostly cargo. Although it is actually parked at the passenger bit of Leipzig, I think. No. I think apron 4 is actually still cargo. I just parked at apron 2 because it was specifically marked as cargo. Fly UK don't give any stands for a lot of their airports, including this one. Or Dublin. But yeah, it doesn't look like the Leipzig Air is actually joining us on the flight, because he hasn't even started pushing back yet, so probably just a coincidence that he also happens to be doing exactly the same route as us. I guess it's quite a popular cargo route, I think, from Leipzig to Dublin. It's a nice route as well, because it's, I don't actually often overfly the UK. I only tend to fly to, if I'm flying over the UK, it'll be because I'm going there, or coming from it, not because I'm passing over it. So it'll be quite nice that today. It's actually a 2-hour flight because of the headwind, so I was thinking it'd be a teeny bit shorter than that, but it's still half an hour shorter than last week's flight, so something. Leipzig traffic, Skyway 7032, taking off 26 left. Going to be using the Odlun 5 Sierra departure. Right, lining up, landing lights on, runway turn-offs on. Our seatbelt signs are on, although I don't think that makes much of a difference. I mean, seriously, I said this in FSX about the 777. Why on earth does a cargo plane have seatbelt signs? I mean, like, do the tomatoes or whatever it is that's in the back of the aircraft need to know? I mean, I don't know what we'll be transporting today from. I mean, I think this service actually might. I think it goes to Stansted after Dublin or Paris after Dublin. It goes to one of those. I don't think it goes on to America. Right, set our power there. Right, start the clock, and then we want to set thrust, because then when the plane transfers over to manual thrust, which it sometimes does, it won't suddenly drop power. Something I've learned from the 7.5. I think it also happens in the 7.3. No, 7.3 is the other way around. Right, 100 knots. There's V1, and rotate. And up we go. Positive rate, gear up. It's nice flying the 757 with a yoke for once. Feels a lot nicer. So it's crazy. In FSX, you really don't notice whether you're flying a plane with a yoke or a joystick, but it must be something to do with X-Plane's physics, but you notice it a lot more if you're flying it with the wrong kind of controller. Right, and then we're going to start to pitch the plane down, because this thing did a crazy climb initially. I think it's because of those restrictions we've got later on. Right, flaps 1, and flaps can come up actually. This thing has been pretty speedy. We're actually limited to 210 knots now, so I'm going to go ahead and enable the autopilot. And there you go, I want to make sure this thing knows it's going to 210 knots. Weirdly, this thing didn't actually ever pass over to manual throttle, so me putting it up to 60% or whatever it was useless in the end. And then up we climb very sharply, and then we're supposed to do a right turn, man. This thing isn't actually doing the profile 100% correctly. I think it's supposed to have an intercept course on it, but it's not doing. It's just doing a straight right turn, which is fine as well. In fact, actually, the right turn is okay because of how it like shortcuts the waypoint, and we should be clear up to 250 knots now as well. So there we go. Up we go. There. Take a few screenshots. And there we go. Passing 5,000 with the standard pressure, which will be quite a jump. And I'll do it on the other side as well. Old-fashioned the 757. They're not synced, the altitude things. Right, there we go. So we've now passed above transition altitude, climbing very quickly. Obviously, we're quite light today, and there's no restrictions on the departure, so it's kind of what you'd expect. Is to climb very quickly. Runway turn's already off, good. So, I mean, typically it takes about 4 minutes to get 10,000, so, I mean, it will take us quite a while to reach cruise today as well, because it's 38,000. It's very high for a 757. They don't typically go that high, but obviously we're very light today, so that's the reason why. And then we can go ahead and set 40 knots. Actually, no, I think we can go. No, I'll stick it in 40 mile range, not 80. And the weather radar gain we can set to just +1 now, and then we want -2 when we get to cruise. Learn how to use the weather radar. How to set the gain to make sure you get the best weather radar, like kind of stuff back. Although I never get anything from the weather radar on this anyway, it seems. Alright, there's 10,000. Main lights off. And then one of my favourite parts about the 757 is you get to see this little Mach speedo. It starts going up from 400, and you can just see your speed rising like really nicely. I like it. I like it like that. I do like steam gauges. They look nice. It's one reason why I love the 757 so much. Is these nice old-fashioned steam gauges that you've got. They're lovely. Also, London Control are online. It's London Central that are online, so I think we'll be getting coverage from them, possibly. Obviously, I don't think we'll be descending until after we've left UK airspace. I don't know. Depends on what we're doing for our arrival yet, I guess. At the moment, we're planning runway 28 left, weirdly it's called. I'm positive it used to just be 28. I'm positive it didn't used to be 28 left at Dublin. Is that a new thing? No, I don't know. At least it's not in the latest Air Act change. But yeah, it's apparently called 28 left. It's called 28 left and 10 right, despite the fact that there is no 28 right, 10 right. No, 10 left. I mean, that doesn't exist in Dublin. So who knows? It's a bit of a weird arrival into Dublin as well, but we'll look at that later. There's two choices of arrival we can do and whatever. So, we're not going to be heading through Eurocontrol West. We're heading out over Germany and then over the Netherlands. So, right, passing 14,000. I think we can get the seatbelts onto auto again. Why we have seatbelts, I really don't know. I mean, you know, like hey, food produce back there. You can get up and walk around now. Like, it doesn't work. I assume that's what we're taking, food produce. I mean, it's what do you call it? 15,400 kilos today, so not an awful lot. So it can go. I think it can go up to about 40,000 kilos load in this thing. You can see, I mean, out of all of what we can take, we're only taking 1 out of 5 cargo compartments full, and out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out of 15 pallets, we're only taking 10, so we are quite light. Right, we can go to 80 nautical mile range on here now. Passing 18,000 feet, so yeah, in just 7 minutes, we're already pretty high up in the air. The plane in Leipzig hasn't left yet, so obviously they're not flying with us. They're also obviously just a total coincidence that someone else happens to be doing. I always think the landing lights are still on in this thing, and then I click them and remember that they are off. And we'll be cruising at Mach 0.8 today, Mach decimal 8. It's quite a quick plane, the 757. It's not quite as quick as the 777 or the 787, but it's faster than the 737. It's kind of in between them. The 787 is stupidly quick. It does like Mach 0.84. And then obviously our ETA is going to be totally wrong. I mean, yep. So according to our overlay, yeah, if we go direct to Dublin at this exact speed, we'll be there at 11:30. So we can't possibly be there any earlier than that. I mean, obviously our speed's increasing, so that will change a little bit. And this is saying 11:07. Like, that's why I like to use the original FMC. It's worth having to work the V-speeds out yourself, because the PIP FMC's ETA is so broken. I seriously wish Flight Factor would fix that. I mean, like, where you can get V-speeds given to you and get an accurate ETA. It's because you can't enter in cruise winds. There is no way of entering in winds in this aircraft. The only winds are these ones, and they're taken directly from the game. But if it did actually put those into its calculations, it would probably be okay, but they don't work. These don't work, no way. Because when the winds change outside, your ETA still remains the same, so it doesn't work. So it's a bit of a shame, that. Right, we'll set our heading now, actually, to the heading we're currently on. Haven't heard anything from the plane departing Leipzig, so I think we're well ahead of it. Obviously, it did connect a good... I mean, it connected 26 minutes ago. I was connected 39 minutes ago, so really, it probably should be about 10 minutes. It probably should be about 10 minutes behind us. I mean, literally, I started the stream at just before 9 o'clock, and we were off-blocked at 9:16. So that's pretty good. It took us about 17 minutes to prep the plane and push back. Start push back, that is. As soon as the plane starts moving, that's off blocks. Right, the weather we're looking at is 0 now, and we'll put it over to -2 once we're at cruise then. I mean, it doesn't look like there's much in the way of weather. I'll just check the significant weather. I meant to do it earlier, actually, but I didn't. Actually, I did. There is none. There is literally none. So no weather for us to worry about. I'll just get the I'll just delete the weather for Leipzig and put up the weather for Dublin just so I can refresh it quickly later. At the moment the wind is variable at 2 knots, 4 degrees, and the QNH is 1034. So again, very high pressure. What was the temperature in Leipzig? I never actually looked. It was 3 degrees in Leipzig. Wow. Obviously there was no visible moisture, so you don't need anti-ice, but Interesting. You can see our speed is increasing, so our overlay is now saying 20 past 11. But as I said, that won't be true, because obviously we've got to, you know, I think, you know, have to see. Because our speed isn't going to get a lot higher than about maybe 420 knots, maybe. Because we're going to have a bit of a headwind today. Maybe 410 knots, something like that. So our speed isn't going to increase that much. Alright, passing front level 280. I think we should go outside, have a little look around. There we are. And then go making a left turn. We're passing 30,000 feet now, so it's still 8,000 feet to go. I mean, I don't know how long Simbrief says it'll take for us to climb. Simbrief tends to be quite spot on with this aircraft, weirdly. Doesn't do it with all of them. 18 minutes according to this, it should take to climb all the way up to 38,000. I said, as long as there isn't any altitude restrictions on the departure, like where you have to stay at an altitude and like stops to climb. It really tends to be quite accurate, which is nice. Oh, there you go, Euro Control East has just come online. Now, I don't actually know if they do cover us though. I'm fairly sure that Eurocontrol East, yeah, they cover Eastern Europe, because where we are is covered by Maastricht's Eurocontrol, so, oh well. And the Leipzig Air from Dublin is now taken off, so we are literally, to Dublin. But obviously, the thing is, even though it's 10 minutes behind us, because it's a 777, it'll probably be quicker than us. I suspect, anyway. It's going to be cruising at... Actually, I don't know what it's cruising at, because it's bugged out. It's like, because it's been pre-filed on Vatsim, the remarks that are stupidly long for the 777 when you pre-file a flight mean that you can't see the cruise altitude. I mean, yeah, hopefully, I'm hoping we'll get some ATC later. Polaris controls just come online. Oh, that's Norwegian airspace. Oh, here you go, Dublin Tower. Dublin Tower has actually just popped online. So if they're still on by the time we get there, obviously we won't be there for another hour and a half. You know, just a little bit more than that, in fact. They probably won't be online by the time we get there, but might get lucky. See, right now we're getting a pretty big headwind. Not good. Well, that's expected, really, isn't it? Alright, almost at 38,000. Obviously, I'm going to keep an eye out now for that Dublin Tower. for them to set up an ATIS. In fact, there it is. However, there's no text in it at the moment. If they're not doing a text ATIS, we'll have to wait. I hope they do a text ATIS. It would be very useful if they decided to do one. However, they might not do a text ATIS. They don't have to. Obviously, if it's not a text ATIS, I have to wait to grab the either the voice ATIS or request controller info, which should bring up one. But I'll have to wait. Oh, there we go. There it is. So, ILS approach runway 28 left in use. Transition level 5,500. Alright. There. So, that's in there ready. Yeah. So, expect ILS approach 28 left, which we are using. So, that's good. So, we might get some ATC then when we get to Dublin. That'll be kind of nice. Nice to set up an ATIS. Always useful to know what runway you're landing on before we get there. And again, it depends on how long he's online. If he's online for 2 hours and he was supposed to be on at 10, he'll be on until 12. If he's on for an hour from 10, it'll be 11. He's online until. But, I mean, we might not be. We'll be after 11, I think, even. Okay, it seems as if our the PIP FMC has maybe started to grab what the winds are doing, and it's changed our ETA a little bit. Obviously, it was saying 11:07 when we departed. It's now saying 11:11. That's what I mean about being ridiculous, though. And there's a little alert thing there, so you can see. I mean, I thought we'd get up to at least 410 knots or something. The wind's actually a bit worse than that. So we're limited to just 400 knots. So slow because of the wind. Hopefully, it will change a bit later. Obviously, we're making a slight left turn, so our speed will increase slightly when we do that, but it's not a massive turn. There you go, there's 38,000. Very high up for the 757. I think it can actually go up to 41. Service ceiling. Service ceiling is apparently 42,000. Today, with this load, maximum is 41, but optimum is 38,000, so we don't want to be climbing any more than that. And our ETA, according to our overlay, is 11:15, so I'd expect to be down maybe more like just gone 11:20, something like that. So obviously, that means our FMC is confirmed to be totally wrong. One trick with this FMC as well, to make it more accurate, there you go. If you just go to a waypoint and then activate it again, it resets its calculations, which means that it adds on a few minutes sometimes. Again, it proves how broken this FMC is. But I forgot to change it, so there we go. My bad. I don't know why you have to have an unloaded aircraft to use it, but you do. Right now, Frankfurt is packed. I think they've got an event going on down to Dubai today. That's why they're so busy. I did one of those on FSX about, a little less than a year ago, maybe like 8 months ago, 9 months. They did one from Frankfurt to Dubai. That was fun. I need to do more long flying like that. I really enjoyed those long flying events, but the thing is with them is that the 787 is the best plane to do that in, or maybe the A350. The next plane has a decent A350, but it doesn't have a decent 787. Like, I mean, the Magnite, I'm waiting for it to get updated. It's on version 1.6, and even though it looks like a pretty good plane, it still isn't quite awesome quality. I mean, you can just tell by the price straight away. When you're buying aviation add-ons, it's $45. Like, that's half the price that I paid, pretty much, for the 757. And that's kind of the difference. The quality of the add-on does seem to be very related to the price. The best add-ons are always probably more than $60. $60, maybe $50 is the minimum that you pay for a good add-on. I mean, like, take the tow list, the A321 tow list, that's $79. So obviously, it's very good. and I've heard that it's very good. But then obviously if you take the Magnite, which isn't quite as good, it is less. Only $45. And obviously, you know, the 777 that Flight Factor do is only $45, and actually it's on sale from $60. But the Worldliner Pro Extended pack that they do, the extended, that is still $85, surprisingly. I say it really needs updating, that does, the Flight Factor 777. Again, I love the 777, great for long haul flights, but the one that Flight Factor do right now is of shocking quality, because it's old, it needs updating. I can't remember which game, I think they might have even made it for X-Plane 10, and then just ported it into X-Plane 11, I'm pretty sure. But the 7.5 and the 7, I think the 7.6 they made of a good quality straight away, and the 7.5 they made of a good quality after they upgraded it. So the 757, it's amazing. So I really like Flight Factor. They're a good company. I think the planes that they make are really nice. I wouldn't mind the INI build have just released their Beluga. I think that would be cool. I mean, you couldn't fly with Fly UK with it, but they do other flights. They actually have a list of flights that come included that you can do. They have like a list of flights that the Beluga operates, and it's basically just the flight. It's basically the INI build's A300, but it has got a lot of things. I saw someone play it a couple of days ago, and it looked really cool. There's also the Colorado Concorde as well. I've seen people play that, and it looks really cool. I would like to have a go in Concorde, but I honestly don't know if I can pilot it. It's very difficult to pilot. Very, very difficult. But you know, maybe sometime we will have to do a stream on Concorde if I get it. So Concorde does look cool. You know, I'd like to have a go in it at some point maybe. But it needs a lot of learning, the Concorde. It's very difficult to fly and to land and to fly on a regular SID or Star. Yeah. I mean, it's what you'd expect really. It's quite old fashioned and very difficult to fly, although I imagine that would be fun. And yeah, we should be getting some ATC today. London Central is online, so I think we passed through their airspace. I will just check. I have got a chart on my wall. We enter the UK at Otbed, maybe somewhere around there. Ravlo? Do we go to? I think we go to Ravlo, don't we? Yeah, Ravlo. So we enter the UK at Ravlo, which is in the north sector. So sadly, I don't think we'll be getting any ATC from London Central. We need London North if we want to get ATC. So we're not going to have any ATC from London unless the centre guy decides to be nice and slightly extend the sector. But never mind, it doesn't matter, does it? There you go, max. I just want to reset the max engine temperature, because obviously it was displaying that it reached a hot temperature early on startup, but we don't need that now, so we'll just reset it. Right, it's 570 miles to go. After that left turn, we did gain a couple of knots of speed. We're doing 405 knots, so we're going pretty slowly. The Leipzig air behind us, that's obviously on the same route, it's currently doing 414 knots and it's still climbing. So at this rate he'll be there before us, or very close. There's also a couple of planes, there's one in Manchester, a Ryanair, that is currently not It's on the ground in Manchester, so hasn't departed yet. So that will also be a plane to watch to see what it's doing. It's been online. It's actually only been online for 0 minutes. That plane. So I can expect it to. If it takes off in like 20 minutes or even half an hour, it'll probably be there before us. Because Manchester is literally about 150 miles from Dublin, something like that. It's a really short flight. Okay, very clear day outside. There's not much cloud in Dublin. There's a few clouds at 1,400, but it's broken at 3,500, so there's a bit more thicker cloud at 3,500. The winds are now 180 at 4 knots. Now, obviously there is an Aegis down there right now. It's been updated at 9:30, which is the new weather. Still using ILS-28 left. So I think, obviously Dublin, I also expect Dublin to get a lot busier soon. Now people can see that it has ATC. That does happen. People are like, oh, there's ATC there, let's go to Dublin today. So it acts like a magnet, ATC. Right, the Lufthansa cargo behind, not Lufthansa, Leipzig Air is doing 417 ground speed. I'm only doing 405, so 406 according to Vatsim. So that Leipzig Air is going to be catching us up. However, according to Vatsim, we will be in Dublin first. Once we get to Dublin, we are going to take a cargo stand. I'll make sure I let Tower know of that, by the way, actually. So we're going to be looking for a parking stand in the cargo area, which I believe is basically stands 411 to stand 418. So they're the stands that we're going to be looking for today. So we need to make sure that we advise control of that before we get there. Well, not before we get there, but like when we make first contact with him, we'll just let him know that we want to request one of those stands, because it has happened to me before where I've requested a stand and they've given me a passenger stand, because obviously on Vatsim they actually can't tell the difference between the 757-200 and the 757 freighter. That there's no option for a 757 freighter when you connect. It literally, if you type in 75F, it doesn't come up with anything. You have to type in 752, and then it asks you, it's a 757-200. And then the 777, you can tell it that it's a freighter, but it still gives the code as a 77L. It doesn't give the code as a 77F. So there's no way of knowing if you are actually piloting a freighter unless you tell them that it's cargo. In the real world, I'm pretty sure they don't do that, but maybe they do. I don't know. Surely they have a way of knowing. Right, they must have a way of knowing in the real world. Okay, there's already 3 planes on the ground in Dublin now, so this is what happens. That magnet of ATC is now starting. Everyone's obviously checked their computers this morning. They've gone, right, is there a short flight within the UK or Europe? Where has ATC? And people have gone, right, okay, Dublin has ATC, we'll go there. That's what happens. Yeah. I don't know why, but everyone wants ATC, I suppose, don't they? But it does mean it gets very busy sometimes. Even, because obviously Vatsim is still quite busy early morning, so, it's still not as busy. I mean, right now the US has very little ATC. I was actually waiting for what tends to happen to me is that the US will only have ATC in the areas I fly when I'm not flying in the US. But right now there's basically nothing. I'm kind of surprised there's no one online in Germany. Germany is actually usually one of the first places that you get ATC on Vatsim. Like, I'd say Germany and the UK are the 2 areas in the world where you get the most ATC. I mean, Gatwick's pretty busy this morning, as usual. That's expected. There's 9 planes right now. So you do expect it to be pretty busy. Oh, we're making a right turn again. I was hoping we'd stay in like this for a bit. If we make a right turn again, that'll mean that we're going slightly slower again. It doesn't matter. I think we're staying at Mach 799 the entire flight. Oh, it does start dropping off. I don't know why that happens, by the way. Like, why does the cruise speed start to drop off when you get further into the flight? It always happens. It happens in the 737 as well, but like the plane plans a slightly lower cruise speed as you get more and more into cruise. I don't know why that is. There must be a reason for it. Also, guys, I hope you're liking the new flight sim content on the channel. The videos, the edited videos, you know. Hope they are the people's liking. They still haven't got, I don't know, so I build, they still haven't got their Beluga out yet, but they've got their, the A300 out, obviously. I don't even know when the Beluga will, drop then. Yeah, when that Beluga releases, I might get it. I don't know. I'll see how much it costs. But I wouldn't mind flying the A300 Beluga around. It'd be cool. Oh, wait, what? Is that a plane? There we go. Qantas 548. Also, I need to set the weather radar. Qantas 548. They didn't appear on my screen. I have got traffic enabled, right? I think I have traffic enabled. I didn't have traffic enabled, that was stupid. So all that time I didn't have it enabled, I didn't click traffic on the thing. So we couldn't see where planes were. And I've turned it on, we can now see that there's a lot of planes, in fact, in the area. I can't believe I didn't press that traffic button. I'm positive I don't usually have to touch that in this aircraft. Well, there we go. Doesn't matter, we know where they are now, all the planes. I've actually got a plane directly ahead of us at a very similar altitude. Whoa, that Qantas that just passed us, it's going to Sydney. Wow. He's going all the way to Sydney, that is insane. I wouldn't do that. Apparently do it for a charity event, looking at the thing. Right, Cargo Lux 89 a Papa. Oh, there's someone else doing it as well, Qantas 517, wow. So they're running Project Sunrise, Project Wingman charity event, so they're doing the long flight. There's actually 3 of them doing it. Wow. That's a long flight. Oh, no, there's 4 of them. 5 of them, there's 5 of them doing it. Wow. That's insane. 5 people are doing that. How many in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5 people. Wow. I would not do a flight that long. That's like 20 hours. Imagine your sim crashed on landing. That would be like bad. Right, we have got a plane directly in front of us. I think it is, I can't quite, oh there you go, I think it's Cargo Lux. Yeah, Cargo Lux 89 a Papa heading into Gatwick. And it is on the same route as us right now. It's on L980. However, if it's heading to Gatwick, it won't be with us for very long. Because we're on L980 right now. It's on L980 until RKN, so it follows our route until RKN, which is there. And after that, it doesn't go on our route, so that's fine, it won't be in our way. I'll just mark the range down so we can see it's 10 miles ahead, so that's perfectly safe separation. It's actually going a bit quicker than us as well, I think. Yeah, it's going 30 knots quicker than us, so we've got no worry with that. It's a 747 going from Vienna to Gatwick, but after RKN, it goes on its own route to try and get to Tebra. So they'll be taking the Tiburon Gulf into Gatwick. Oh, there's a few clouds up ahead here. Is that not being picked up by the weather radar? I'll put it into -1 so it can start picking up stuff above us. Actually, I forget. The reason is because any really high up level clouds, it doesn't pick them up because there's no there's ice in them, not rain. It doesn't pick up really frozen ice as well. I'll see. Right, the Lufthansa behind us is now, no, not Lufthansa, the Leipzig Air is doing 426 knots versus our 410, so it'll only be 6 minutes behind us by the time we get to Dublin, apparently. So, we'll see about that. That plane might end up being quite close to us, so you can see there it goes. So the cargo looks has continued straight look, but we're turning right. So we're staying away from it. And we're now in this kind of direction for quite a while. We're going to head directly through those clouds. Nothing's showing up on our weather radar, so I think we should be okay. Just some high level clouds. They weren't registered as significant weather. But yeah, nothing's been picked up on the weather radar, so I think we're okay. Make sure it's in weather and turbulence, which it is. Alright, I think we're okay. We might get a bit of lag in a minute, because, you know, X-plane and clouds. X-plane and clouds do not agree. Also, your control east is already gone online, or offline, I just noticed that. They may have been online like 15 minutes. Not long. Yeah, nothing's showing up on our weather radar. I can actually set it to -3 and it'll still scan stuff up to 0 degrees ahead of us, so we can do that, but that tends to create a bug with this plane where it starts scanning the terrain sometimes. Nah, it's not picking anything up, so I'll put it back to -2. Just checking there is no moisture in these clouds. If there's no moisture, it's fine. But if they were going to be turbulent, obviously maybe. I mean, we can't reroute around them now anyway, but we're already in them. Actually, I think we might actually just graze over the top of them here at 38,000. I can't believe those people are going to Sydney. It's insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, it'd be fun, wouldn't it? It would be fun, but I think it's probably quite a bit of flying. A lot of flying, in fact. But yeah, I think we're actually avoiding these clouds, which is fine. There's a plane just ahead of us, maybe on the same airway as us, but it's a bit lower. There it is, Munich Air. There's a lot of virtual airlines in Germany, actually. There's, 9 Alpha Foxtrot going down to Seattle, along with 1 Tango Bravo. There's 2 of them. So that, is this like some aviation day in Germany or something? There's like loads of people doing flights. Yeah, I think Leipzig are quite big. I think they're like Fly UK. They're quite a big virtual airline. So they have got quite a few planes about. Although they're playing in Lufthansa, they're playing in what do you call it? They're playing in. That's heading to Leipzig. Isn't actually been picked up. Oh, it is being picked up. There it is. Yeah, it is being picked up, and it is a 777 freighter, so they are doing a freight flight. Weather information down in Dublin haven't changed. We'll get some new weather about Dublin actually quite soon, the 10 o'clock Zulu weather, because it's 10 past 10 now, so it should be here pretty soon. And we're only 450 miles away from Dublin, so crazy. That must be how slow we're going, because we've already done 260 miles so far. Well, 450 miles isn't a very long period of time left, and yet we are still probably about an hour away from Dublin easily. Right, if this was, we could do that, in less than an hour, if it was, if we had a headwind, no, tailwind, I mean. What am I on about? Yeah, even if it was neutral, if there was no wind at all, we'd be doing 455 knots, which would allow us to do that in an hour. Hello in the chat. I'm alright. Hope you're enjoying the stream, obviously. Not too far to go. Well, about an hour. Just over. Currently over the Netherlands, actually. We might see Amsterdam if we look down. I don't know. I think it might be a little bit... Yeah. Oh, a bit cloudy. Might have seen Amsterdam Airport if it was not cloudy, but never mind. Can't actually see Amsterdam Airport on this map. I'll probably see it. There you go. Yeah, so I think the airport is, we are going to be flying quite close to the airport, just slightly north of there. But yeah, if it wasn't cloudy, I think we'd see it. Never mind. Amsterdam Airport should be just about around there. It's all hidden by cloud. It's obviously a bit cloudy in Dublin right now. The weather is actually refreshed. It's stayed the same, the cloud, about 3,500 feet, so there'll be a little bit of cloud coming into the airport, but not a massive amount. Fuel's looking good now, actually, so I think we can change our reserves back. I guess the again, this FMC being as bugged as it is, it probably misinterpreted the reserve fuel we put in at the start or something. Also, I didn't want it shouting insufficient fuel at me all the time, so that's why I changed it. Right, what is this waypoint that it's called Spy? Oh, okay. I'm not attempting to pronounce the place that Spy is supposed to be. It's like Spiker board, but it's probably pronounced different. It's in Dutch. So there we go. Just ignore my pronunciation. It's because it's guaranteed to be terrible. I mean, not even just a little bit terrible. It's guaranteed to be totally wrong. And then we're heading out of the North Sea. We should actually see the North Sea, and then we'll be over the UK. So it'll be a bit weird to fly over the UK and then just fly straight by. I don't usually do that. Quite rare, that. Also, for iRacing, yeah, speaking of iRacing videos, I'll probably do a video on this when it's been confirmed by iRacing. But in their forums, it looked as though they are going to be introducing a GT3 Sprint Series next season. I'll try and find the thread now on forum. I'll do it now. Oh, they've also released, literally, I've just checked now, and last night they released the schedule for week 13. And in fact, GT3 Challenge has been released to be part of the official road racing. If we go to new content, there we go. Shiny new shakedown, tin top tussle. They got GT4s at No, guys, GT4s at Hockenheim. That'll be fun. There we go then. So we have actually got yeah. So GT4, so Hockenheim are coming to the game. Hockenheim is coming to the game then this season, confirmed. So that's really amazing. And then 13th week GT3 Challenge. There we go. Also, so new content and features. This is, yeah, new content and features. So they've got a brand new super late model. Silly Send It. It's going to be the 87s in the street stock. So that makes me think they're doing something to the street stock. Actually, I think they've got the new damage model on the street stock, haven't they? That might be why. And then, yeah, 13th week. So that's what I'm going to be doing next season. I'm going to do the GT3 Challenge. So what the GT3 Challenge is going to be is it's going to be like VRS, exactly like VRS, but fixed setup and 20-minute races. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be really good. I mean, safety rating might take a bit of a bash, but I think that'll be really fun. And rallycross cars on dirt oval. So that suggests that they might be bringing in new dirt oval, or something new to rallycross physics. I don't know. So yeah, there's some really, really cool things coming to iRacing next season. I've literally just checked now. I mean, I know this is supposed to be a flying stream, but wow, we'll do a video on that then at some point. Got a plane up there. That's the Munich Air one, isn't it? Yeah. They're going to Seattle. I'd like to do a transatlantic flight soon. Fly UK does actually do some transatlantic. Well, not Fly UK. Actually, there is. There's a Dublin to Boston flight that they do with the 757 cargo. And then Metro Air also does Edinburgh to Boston and Leeds to Boston? I don't know. I'll check now. It isn't Leeds, I don't think. I'll check now. They do Edinburgh to Boston and Manchester to Boston. So Manchester to Boston, Leeds to Boston, and then you can also do... Oh no, they don't. Fly UK Cargo doesn't do Dublin to Boston. So no, there's two transatlantic flights that you can do, and they're both with Metro Air. So we might have to do the Edinburgh to Boston flight at some point. It's only 2,700 miles, and the Boston to Manchester is 2,700 miles. So yeah, we might have to give that a go at some point. I think that could be fun. So at the moment, there's not a lot of opportunity for me to do transatlantic stuff with the flights we've currently got. So, like, I'd like to get a 787. I really want to get the 787, but there just isn't. There isn't a decent one for X-Plane, and it's a shame. I really hope. I mean, the thing is, Magnite haven't done an update on their plane for like, 6 months. So I don't know what they're planning. Magnite. I'll have to look on their website to see if they've got anything. Yeah, the last... I mean, I'm looking on their forums now, and the last... They haven't actually got any update. They've got 2 pinned things. So yeah, they haven't got anything planned. I'll have a look at how long they left between their last updates, because that will probably be a good way to plan. If we go on to so yeah, their last update was obviously September, but then before that, when was version 1.5? And if you look, 1.5 was half a year ago. It was in May. 1.5 and 1.4 was in January. So they seem to do, they don't do updates that frequently, so hopefully, I don't know, 1.7 might be quite nice. That's if they're going to do a 1.7. But I'm really looking forward to iRacing Week 13, though. Obviously, totally different topic, but I am... Oh no, oh, a minute. Oh, I thought they just announced the iRacing Nürburgring series, but they haven't. I thought they had, but they haven't. I thought they'd announced it, but they haven't. But the iRacing Endurance series is coming back, but obviously, again, you need... Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new series. The new season is going to be really fun. I think that'll be a really great little thing to do. The what do you call it? But yeah, I'm looking forward to iRacing's Week 13 plans. I think that could be really fun. They've obviously got some new stuff planned. Unfortunately, the tube frame twister that they usually do with the Cup cars is going to be done with the ARCA cars. So we're going to do... Oh my word, the Battle of the Little Wings has got the IR1 in it. Oh my word, that's going to be fun. Might have to give that a go. But I like Week 13, it's one of my favourite weeks on iRacing, even though a lot of people just take it as a week off iRacing, and they're like, oh, iRacing's Week 13 this week, nothing to do. It's actually, it's one of my favourite weeks. There's a lot of series that don't count towards iRating, but there's also some that do. They're doing a Ferrari GT3 challenge, so maybe I'll give that a go. They're having the 13th week street stock challenge as well, so I might have to give that a go. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to to that then. It'll be good fun, week 13. Obviously it's starting on Tuesday, so we should know pretty soon, and then obviously they'll release the week after their new schedule for the upcoming season. Honestly, I mean, my second season on iRacing, it's my first full season, has flown by. Anyway, back to flight simming. I think we should start talking about flight simming now, right? There's oh my word, 5 planes on the ground in Dublin, so it's getting very, very busy, as you expect, really. As you'd expect. That does happen. The the Leipzig air that was following us is currently doing 14 more knots than us. It's going to be in Dublin, about 7 minutes behind us, though, apparently. So I don't think it'll be any threat to us. Well, not threat. What am I on about? I meant like it won't be. We won't need to change any of our speeds or anything to avoid it or anything like that. Oh my word! iRacing Figure 8 is back, and they're doing the Pro 2 Lite versus the NX5. Oh my word, that's going to be ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, we all know that. Well, I'm pretty happy with that. I am looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that then. Week 13. Obviously, I think I'm definitely going to do some videos. I think the 13th week GT3 challenge will be good fun to test out kind of what's going to be going on with that series. So at the moment, so under new content, under new content, the GT3 challenge. Also, I'm waiting to see if they're going to release a Porsche GT3. It was teased, but they're going to be releasing a brand new Porsche GT3 because the Porsche Esports Super Cup, the All-Stars series that runs along with that, under the next couple of weeks after they finish with the GTE, so they go GT3 Cup, GT4, and then GTE. The weeks after the GTE on that are blanked out as question mark. So who knows? You know, obviously, you know, if they were just going to use all the existing content, they'd probably use the Porsche 919, the LMP1 car. So obviously, they've got plans to introduce a GT3. But no, Hockenheim is coming to the game, then that'll be exciting. I like Hockenheim. It's a nice track, so I think that'll be fun to have in iRacing. And then yeah, you know, I think well, you'll be seeing a lot of iRacing videos, guys, over the next next week. I think with week 13 on its way on Tuesday. I'm also very happy because TC America returns this week, so the long off-season of motorsport is finally coming to an end now, with TC America coming back first, and then I've got F1 to look forward to, GT World Challenge Europe. They're all coming back now in March, towards the end of March. I mean, I think F1 was actually supposed to go back in 2 weeks, but didn't it get delayed because they cancelled? No, maybe it was 21st. They delayed it by a week because obviously Australia got moved, and then they didn't bother moving Bahrain forward. And there's our top of descent. Look, popping up on there. We'll be descending in about half an hour, so get ready for that. Time to descend. That should be good. We're at 38,000 feet right now. London Control has gone offline, but remember, they wouldn't have been with us anyway. Dublin Tower then, of course, as well. Got to be thinking about that. There should be new weather in about 16-17 minutes for Dublin. That'll be the weather that we use for our arrival then. I will just check the ATIS, see if the guy's updated it for 10 o'clock. He has. It's still ILS 28 left. The QNH down there right now is 1034. Crazy. And we do need to advise on initial contact which ATIS information we have. So I will be making sure to do that. And the Ryanair from Manchester, oh wow, I haven't even noticed while I've been talking, but it's actually below 10,000 feet on approach to Dublin. That's how short of a flight that is, though. It's mad. It's such a short flight, that. Getting a pretty nice, 45, 50 FPS. Honestly, I think this Flight Factor 757 is my favourite plane out of any plane I've ever flown in any flight sim, apart from maybe the PMDG 777. I really like the 777 and the 787 actually from Quality Wings. They were both quality, but because it was an FSX and therefore the add-on was lower quality, not by the fault of the developers, but by the fault of FSX. Well, not even fault, it's an old game. Also, we'll just do a quick maintenance check. Nothing's been detected, good. Right, we're going to start planning for our arrival. You know what, let's just do it now. Get ourselves nice and prepared. We're just heading in half an hour, so if we can get ourselves all prepared, get all the I haven't even got the charts pinned or anything yet. So it is the Bagso to Lima at the moment, I think, I'm planning. It's a faff to find any charts here at Dublin, because all the procedures are on the same chart generally, so you've got to skip down until you find the one you want. There's the to Lima chart, so bring that up, and I just want to check basically the other one, because there's different Bagsos that we can use. I think we can also use the Bagso. We can also use the Bagso 2X-ray. So I just want to check if there's a reason why we wouldn't be allowed to use the Bagso 2X-ray. Because I think it is, I don't know, the thing is, the 2 Lima is the one that they use. That's the one that they regularly use. It's the one that takes you in an arc round the airport. It basically, what it is, it just takes a shortcut. That's what it does. I'm going to take the 2X-ray, because it'll be a shortcut, the 2X-ray. It means we don't have to hold at 8,000 for as long of a time. So I'm going to take the 2X-ray. So we're going to go to arrivals, and we're going to choose 28 left, and Bagso 2X-ray. I don't think I actually put in a star, earlier on. I don't think I actually put in a star. My mistake. So we've done that now. And Bagso needs to be below flight level 100, and then 8,000 then the entire way until Kogax, and then above 3,000 at Latmo. I'm going to make it at 3,000 at Latmo just to make sure we're ready for the arrival. Right, so that's that. I'm going to take the 2X-ray because it doesn't say anywhere on this chart at all. It doesn't say anywhere on the 2X-ray chart that you have to use it. Like, if it said only to be assigned by ATC, then I wouldn't pick it. But it doesn't say anywhere on here. So if you have a look on the charts, it doesn't say anywhere ATC. If it says only to be used when assigned by ATC. So we're going to get rid of because the 2X-ray is a shortcut. It's a shorter arrival, which is probably what they'd use in Dublin when there was a lack of congestion. It's basically just cuts out that last arc of the arrival, which obviously, when it's quite quiet, like today for example, is what you want. So we'll do that, and then we'll have a quick look then at the plan of what we're doing, just to make sure the plane knows. So you can see it's a bit of a weird looking approach. You do head in from Adsis and then Carav, and then when you start that arc round to Kogax, normally that arc would continue, but on this arrival you just head straight to Latmo. and then you start the ILS. It's basically just a quicker, it's what they give you in vectors normally. They give you, it's a way of shortening the procedure, but obviously we don't, since we are, obviously if it's very congested in Dublin airport, then I wouldn't take it, but it's quite quiet, so it's probably what they do in real life, is they choose based on whether it's quiet or busy, what a lot of these airports tend to be like. Just to have a quick look at, so they always use runway 28 left apparently that's the preferential runway in Dublin, so even if it's the wind is a little bit dodgy, we're still used to 28. Taxi procedures, nothing there. Arrivals, it's all fine. Okay, it's all looking good then. I've got the airport up and I'll get the parking stands up. Obviously we're going to have to request the controller for a cargo stand when we first ask him, just so he knows where to route us after we've got off the runway, rather than asking him after we've got off the runway. Just be nice, make it a bit simpler. Okay, so everything's all planned then for the arrival into Dublin. In terms of flaps, we're going to be using flaps 20 because we're so light today. Our approach speeds are very low, and then the ILS frequency is going to be 111.35, so we're going to activate it down here. 111.35, and the course is 278. I scrolled the wrong way, which means I have to scroll for ages now. 278. That's in there, and then the decision height, obviously you have to do it in radio altitude, and as usual it's 200, so we don't touch that. Airport elevation of Dublin is 240. There, and that's it. All done. All ready to land when we need to. Obviously we're still 290 miles away. We're descending in about 20 minutes. And then auto brakes, we're going to use 2 because it's obviously the earlier we vacate in Dublin, the shorter our taxi is. And the Lufthansa cargo behind, why do I keep saying Lufthansa cargo? It's Leipzig Air. Behind us is still keeping up the regular 12 knots faster than us thing. Obviously, maybe if he uses a Bagzo 2 Lima, he'll be able to distance himself a bit more from me. It's seeming like the arrival into Dublin is not going to be an issue. There is a plane incoming from Keflavik, but it's already at full speed and it's going to be 20 minutes behind even the Leipzig Air, so I don't think that'll be an issue. And obviously there's currently 6 planes on the ground departing, so that's something. It's quite busy basically, as is to be expected really when there's ATC at an airport in Vatsim. So everyone flocks there. They all run there. They're like, yay, we have ATC today. Go there quick before it disappears. Oh, there's a lot of waypoints. We're on like quite a short track, I think. We're on like an area that has lots of waypoints, so you can see, look at that. All those waypoints coming up. I will check to see if how we're doing on time as well when we pass Supal. See if sim brief has got the plan right. I did actually plan this sim brief flight about an hour before I actually did the flight, which means that maybe some of the winds would have changed in that time, like the forecast. It's supposed to be an hour and 12 minutes at Supal, and we're an hour and 10 and we're 12 miles away, so an hour and 12 will be about right, I think. Highlighting again how amazing SimBrief is. I honestly, without SimBrief, flight simming would be so different. I think I kind of forget that. It's amazing to be able to have just a tool, just a website that just plans a flight, gives you a real life PDF like the pilot in real life would get. You can print it off if you want, although I have no idea why you'd do that, because it's like, I mean, I don't know how long it is. I think they tend to be pretty long, the PDFs, like 30 pages. Yeah, the headwind started dying down now. There's a lot less wind. It's nice to have that much lot less wind. And the Ryanair heading into Dublin, that's just touched down, so we're now the next plane due to land in Dublin, and obviously we are still 50 minutes away, actually. I mean, but I wonder whether that 2 hours and something, 2 hours 1 minute is correct. We're not 50 minutes away. Although, do remember, obviously, I think when I planned that Simbrief flight, it was for the bags 01 kilo into runway 16. So obviously, since then I have, because Simbrief plans, it always plans its runways based on the wind and which one is best for the wind. However, in real life, at a lot of airports, they do tend to change which runways they use. So obviously, Simbrief will be planning one thing and thinking I'm doing one thing. I'm actually doing a totally different thing. And then, as you can see, when we took off from Leipzig, our FMC says 11:07. It's now saying 11:17. And obviously, I did add 10 miles onto the route by picking up the star, so you can add 2 minutes on for that. But it does show, like, literally in an hour, this FMC got it wrong by 8 minutes. Like, it's that bad. And it's not even like the winds were strong. I mean, 60 knots, yeah, pretty strong headwind, but it can go up to 100, so. And right now, we're not actually getting much of a headwind at all, so. That's why I like to use the original FMC and not the PIP FMC. Because sadly, even though the PIP one gives you V speeds, the rest of it is rubbish. Right, I'll just grab the actual full ATIS from here, just to see if... Okay, I was just wondering if the controller has given any instructions about requesting aircraft type on first contact. So on initial contact, all we have to say is we have information Bravo, so remember that. And obviously on top of that, we have got to remember that we are asking for a cargo stand. It shouldn't be too difficult to remember. And we know what stand we're using, right? Yeah, I'll just mute my mic for a second then. Headphones were sliding all over the place. Anyway, 240 miles. So, not far to go. That's what I mean, there's no way that's going to take, like, 50 minutes. Like, at this stage, I'm expecting the FMC to be fairly accurate. I mean, if we look at the ETAs it gives, you know when it's wrong because loads of waypoints get bunched together with the same ETA. So we know. Actually, it's looking pretty good, these ETAs. Better than usual. It's probably a couple of minutes to be added on here and there, but... all in all, it's pretty good. And yeah, Dublin Tower at the moment, I think, is still online. Yeah. So hopefully they'll be online when we get there. They're on frequency 118.6. So we'll just pre-tune that. For later, be nice and prepared. And then obviously I'm going to keep monitoring then. Okay, the new weather for Dublin has come through. All of it stay the same, but the winds are now 150 at 7 knots. Obviously I've got to watch the winds changing. not winds. The 80's changing as a result of the winds changing. Germany East Centre just came online, Langen Radar East, so we would have been, if we were a bit earlier, we would have maybe would have got a bit of ATC today. No, if we were a bit later, I mean, but doesn't matter. But that is the thing with doing flights at 9 AM though. You do tend to like kind of, but you know, at least on departure, you do get in that range where you know ATC just starts logging on around that time of day. So you tend to just miss them. Although, saying that, I mean, the UK is actually, you know, there's full ATC down at Heathrow, full ATC in Gatwick, full ATC in Manchester, there's a tower in Newcastle, a tower in Dublin, so there's quite a bit of ATC throughout the UK and Ireland. Which is good. I mean, as I said, Vatsim has been quite busy lately. 950 connections, so it's about 100 connections, maybe 150 connections quieter than it was this time last week, so it's getting a bit quieter, but still not empty. Far from it. 6 planes on the ground down in Dublin, so it is quite busy. Eurocontrol North has just come online. That one you don't see very often. I almost never see Eurocontrol North. But they are online. So here's all the masses of waypoints, look, that we're going through right now. Once we pass all of those, see all the, like the pages to Dublin will just go down. After Sonex, there's a massive gap then. And we'll be descending then as well. Because we might be descending slightly early because of all those restrictions. You can see we are descending pretty early into Dublin. Probably about 160 miles out. Actually, 170 miles out, wow. That is because of the restriction that we have to be below flight level 100 at Bagzo. That's why that is. That is probably a little bit earlier than you'd like to be. Well, it's not that early, really. I guess what it is, it's when you get to 100 and then you have we're going to have a few miles then stuck at 8,000, so we've got to get there first, which is why it's early. Because we're coming up on 60 miles, yeah, it will be about 170 miles, no, I can't, 150, it'll be 150 miles out, actually that's not as bad as I thought then. I've forgotten how to do maths. It'll be 148 miles out, which is, you know, it's maybe like 20 miles earlier than usual, but that's fine. That is 20 miles, 15 miles. If it was more like 50 miles early, that would be a little bit early, but it's fine. Let's check the. Okay, at the moment the 80th for Dublin then is still, even though the weather has refreshed, it's still old. It's not from 10:30 yet. Obviously it doesn't matter, maybe they're doing it hourly. Going through that massive waypoints right now. It's just 200 miles to go. This flight's gone pretty quickly, really. I quite like flights at this length. About 600, 700 miles is kind of my favourite. Like, it's typically anywhere from 1 hour and 40 minutes to 2 hours. This length of flight, and it's nice. Like, 2.5 hours is getting on to be a bit long. An hour flight is quite nice as well, but I think between 500 and 800 miles is probably my favourite range of flight distances. There's top of descent look, it's getting ever closer. When we're about 40 miles out, that's when I'll set the thing. Obviously, we're cleared down to 8,000 initially. It'll be. And then upon landing on 28 left, probably going to try and vacate on Sierra 5. Maximum exit speed on Sierra 5 is 50 knots. Recommended 35, so we have to be below. We have to be below 50 knots if we want to vacate on Sierra 5. Otherwise, we're going to Sierra 6. Then down Sierra, and then it'll be cross runway 34, and then link 1 Bravo 1 into runway, no, like cross the runway 1634, and then it'll be stand like 413, 414 around there. That's where I'm going to ask to park. We'll see what we get. I'm expecting the scenery to be pretty nice, being X-Plane scenery. Or, honestly, X-Plane is the best flight sim for default scenery because of their system with the scenery gateway, meaning that all the airports, almost all the airports end up being handmade in some way or another. They've had a community and people tweak them, make sure they're accurate, make sure they've got some nice stand markers on the floor and terminals and all that stuff. I don't know about P3D, I don't know whether P3D has any of that kind of stuff. But obviously P3D is, I think, more intensive on the system. Also X-Plane, I don't know about P3D, but I'm not sure how good the live weather is in P3D. X-Plane has amazing live weather. If you update it so that it updates every 15 minutes, the live weather in X-Plane is really good. You don't need active sky. It's good enough for that, I'd say, anyway. Okay, Information Charlie is now coming live at Dublin. The runway is still 28 left, so don't worry. We are still using 28 left. Right, I'm going to set the descent altitude now. 8,000 feet. And the plane will slow down quite a bit, because this plane likes to go to like Mach 745 on descent. I don't know why, but it's just something that it does. And I'm going to leave a message there. Dublin traffic, descending from flight level 380, Bagzo, 2 X-ray, arrival, ILS 28 left. ETA is 11:20 Zulu, we'll say. Which leaves a bit of a mistake then for our... It leaves 2 minutes of leeway on that FMC, which has probably planned the flight wrong. And we'll send that now, so I've said we descend. I didn't mean to send it now. Descending in 20 miles. Yeah, just mistyped that. I meant to hold it and not send it straight away, and then I just sent it straight away anyway. Never mind. The plane's just taken off from Dublin, but there's still 6 planes on the ground there, so it seems as if every time somebody leaves, someone else pops up. Interesting. Well, I'll go down to 40 nautical mile range now. Doesn't mean we won't be able to see any waypoints for a little bit, but I think I'm okay with that. Because it's getting really, like, cramped up then with the arrival and all that further up. And keep an eye on the ATC, make sure Dublin Tower doesn't go anywhere. Also, I'd like ATC to still be online when we get there. I don't suspect he'll disconnect with 6 planes on the ground and planes inbound, but maybe. And we're apparently... Okay, I don't know what's happened to the plane from Keflavik, but it's currently not on the network, so I don't know if they've had a disconnect or game crash or anything like that. 7 minutes behind us, the Leipzig Air, so that looks like they're going to be nowhere near us. And we're apparently... Okay, hoping my audio is still working. And yeah, so the Leipzig Air should be. I think we should see it land though. It'd be quite nice, isn't it? It's one thing I said it in the last stream that I like about flight simming. You can kind of, obviously we've seen that guy in Leipzig. We've flown all this time, and then we're going to see him touching down in Dublin. It's kind of cool. And considering he's only 7 minutes behind, we should see him touching down in Dublin, because it's quite a long taxi in Dublin, and obviously we've got to set the plane down and engines off and all that kind of stuff. So it should give him enough time to get over there. Right, the plane's going to start slowing down for top of descent now, I think, because we're only 5 miles away, and it does tend to slow down slightly before you actually need to descend, and it slows down to Mach 745 usually. Although weirdly, I flew a Metro Air 757 and it didn't do it because it was using a really high cost index. It was using an 85 cost index Metro Air users, or I think it's 80 cost index, so it didn't slow down that much on the descent, but this thing with 35 cost index does, which I find kind of interesting. Obviously, you know, lower cost index means you use less fuel, so it's probably something to do with that. Wait, oh, is that button assigned to the flaps? I didn't know. Wow. I was pressing that button because I thought it might have done the trim, but I've actually got it assigned to the flaps. I didn't know. That's cool. A little button on my yoke, so it was freaking out at me. There we go. The planes are going to start slowing down, you can see there, and then we're going to start descending. This thing actually didn't slow down until it needed to start descending, which is a bit weird. This plane doesn't tend to do that. It tends to do it before it starts descending, but okay, it has actually started descending, it's fine. Doesn't matter. It's gone silent look now because it's trying to slow down and descend at the same time. So we're 700 feet off course now because it's having to manage to slow down at the same time. It's alright though, there's no point putting out speed brakes, we're all good for now. Why did I assign a button to flaps when I have an axis that does it? Oh, a bit weird that. It's also backwards, like pressing down makes the flaps go up. No, like, I mean, it makes the lever go up, but the flaps do actually go down, so in degrees. Anyway, so there you go. So it's now reached its assigned Mach number, so it should now start descending a bit better. No? This is worrying me a bit. Why are we sticking at 2,000 feet per minute when we're too... plane? Right, altitude hold, then VNAV. Is that going to reset it? No, it's limiting itself to 2,000 feet per minute, look. What if I give it a bit of speed brake? Will that help it? Yes, there we go. So look, we're going too slowly, so it should start pitching down, look. But it isn't. Alright, does it want me to bring in vertical speed for the moment? Is that what it is? There we go. So that's now getting it to do what I want it to. Bit of a weird one, that. It does usually go more than 2,000 feet per minute descent, but I guess it didn't feel like it today. Who knows? It's doing it now though, so it's fine. Then I'll start to ease it then, so it's back on the VNAV path. There we go. I'll enable VNAV now, and the plane should just pick up the path nicely. There. It's a bit of a weird one. Don't know why it didn't try to catch up with its own VNAV path. It just didn't feel like it, I guess. So the speed wasn't an issue because I enabled like the speed brakes and didn't do anything. So there we go. Set up brakes to 2 before I forget. Just do it now. There we go. The plane's now descending. Look, it's doing with the 3.5 path accurately as well, and down to 8,000. So we're all good. We're all good. There's currently 5 planes on the ground in Dublin, so it's still very busy. Even though 2 planes have actually departed, so even though planes are departing, it's getting actually 3 planes have departed. So 3 Ryanairs have left. So as you'd expect at Dublin, there's a lot of Ryanairs. Dublin Airport is mainly just made up of Aer Lingus and Dublin. $119 miles to go. There we go. So not far. Nice. Very nice. And then yeah, it'll be the Bagzo 2 X-ray. No planes around us. London Central just come online. Obviously we weren't in their airspace anyway. Lufthansa Cargo behind us, its speed has actually increased quite a bit. To the point where this is now saying, it's still 6 minutes behind us, it's fine. Obviously it hasn't started descending yet either, so its speed will drop when it starts doing that. Because behind us is going a bit extra slowly because of the fact that the 757 likes to crawl on its descent. At least until it reaches there, so it's now sticking to 279 knots, look. It's doing a very nice, quite slow, steady 2,000 feet per minute descent. I'll get the star chart up, ready for our arrival into Bagzo. So everything's set. Just check the go around procedure at Dublin. It's going to be climbing straight ahead to 3,000, then right turn after Gannet to go inbound to the Dublin VOR, climbing 5,000. So go around altitude is going to be 3,000, I think. That's the initial climb until 10 miles out, so you would hit 3,000. So yeah, 3,000 is our go around altitude, and our ILS intercept altitude is 2,500. That's where the glide slope starts, so that's what we'll be setting below 8,000 later on. Once we begin our descent. And we're going to set runway heading on our heading bug now. It's going to be 116, no not 116, one we're on about. It's going to be 278. Which we do have set down there. Just so happens that our heading bug is basically already set to that anyway. Quite a slow descent actually, thinking about it. I think Eurocontrol West has just come offline, yep. They weren't going to be covering where we were anyway. 4 planes on the ground right now in Dublin, so it's a little bit quieter. Still not empty. Far from empty. Doing standard kind of just under 2,000 feet per minute, very gentle descent, the 757 does. The 11 o'clock weather may be in at Dublin by the time we get there, but I'm not totally sure. Remember, transition altitude is 5,500, so that's when we're setting. What? Who reset that? I set that to 055 earlier in the flight. Who reset it? Oh, I bet it was because I re-put in my arrival. I bet that's why that happened. Well, there we go. And we're setting QNH 1034, so somehow higher than it was in Leipzig. It's 5 degrees outside in Dublin, so it's a bit chilly. And we're looking at a few clouds at 1400, broken 3500, so there will be a little bit of cloud on our arrival. So, you know, typical Irish weather, I suppose. That's assuming Irish weather is quite similar to the UK. Very cloudy, quite often cold. I mean, parts of Ireland are quite close to the UK, aren't they? So, like Wales is pretty close. Right, passing flight level 210 now. Just 88 miles. I like seeing the mile counter kind of tick down towards the end of the flight. It's nice. It's like you're getting closer to your destination. Just gotta hope the ATC doesn't decide to disconnect last minute. There's 5 planes on the ground there now as well, so it's a teeny bit busier again. The Leipzig air has actually started descending now. Yep. But it's apparently going to be at least 5 minutes behind us, so don't think they're going to be an issue with separation or anything. Got 2 Ryanairs departing out of Dublin, so we'll have to watch them. Passing through about 20,000 feet now, both of them, but I think they're a bit too far away to cause an issue for us. Is that Bagzo appearing on our screen? Yes, it is. That means we need to be below 10,000 by that point. Obviously, we need to slow down as well to below 250 knots in that time. And depending on how this thing wants to do the slowing down, I may have to take manual speed control for that. Looking like this flight might be slightly quicker than the 2 hours and 1 minute planned. Kind of nice to save a bit of time, wouldn't it? Well, I'll get the seatbelt signs on now. Not that it matters. I mean, again, vegetable produce back there, all the tomatoes and potatoes and everything. Sit down. There you go. So we told them to get up at the start of the flight, telling them to sit down now. Seriously though, like, I want to know why, like, do they have them in the real world? I'm going to search it up. Why do cargo planes have seatbelt signs? Oh. Not really anything on it. Well, we put flight sim at the end. Am I going to get any help? Nah. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's any kind of info about it. Doesn't surprise me. There you go, you can see our arrival popping up on there now. We're going to go 20 nautical mile range because that arrival is quite, like, condensed from, cause we have to head out to Kerav and then start heading back in. It's a bit of a weird looking arrival really, but obviously typically it would be followed by a bit of a longer arc after Kogaks, but because we're taking the shortcut by taking the 2 X-ray rather than the 2 Lima, because it's quiet. That's what we're doing, Mark. So yeah, it's been a very slow descent this. We probably could have just started descending a lot later, I think. This thing typically does slightly quicker descents than this. Or maybe I'm just imagining that, but I'm pretty sure it does do later descents than this usually. Maybe it's because it's something to do with having cargo on board. Maybe it's because we're light. I don't know. So you can see there, so approach speed is going to be 134, so even with just flaps 20, it is actually quite a slow approach. I do always wonder that about the 757, unless it's really heavy, the approach speed seems to be very low. like lower than the 737-700, which is tiny. I don't know how this thing can stay in the air at such a low speed. What's this thing's stall speed? I mean, like, it should be somewhere around the cabin. No, it isn't. So that you can go as low as 1, so that's the maximum speed. There should be a speed table somewhere in the cabin. Like the cockpit, I can't see it anywhere though. Like round here, saying kind of what the minimum speeds are of the aircraft. It'll be in the manual as well. I have to have a little dig around in that to look at the V-speed tables. So passing 13,000 feet now at Rinvu. There's Bagzo, look, so we need to be below 10,000, we need to be at 8,000, then by Kerav. And then we're going to hold at 8,000 for a teeny bit then. I'll probably get the plane slowing down a little bit, because I suspect it's going to be quite a steep descent to try and reach lap mode, which we've got to reach at 180 knots. So I'll probably, after Kogax, I'll probably, like, on our way between Kerav and Kogax, I'll probably slow the plane to 210 knots, so I'll take manual speed control and start doing that. Lots of cloud in the area here, as expected. The 11 o'clock weather should be through quite soon in Dublin, but not yet anyway. Tower is still online down there, so we're still in luck. Honestly, imagine now we pass like Bagzo or something and they just go offline. They're like, nah, bye. That'll be typical, won't it? Right, passing 11,000 now, coming up on it, so I want to slow down, passing 11,000, so it's going to enable my speed control. And then I'll start to slow the aircraft down, passing 11,000 if the plane doesn't... Actually, the plane won't do it in this mode. But generally taking manual speed control is quite a good idea. Right, we'll do it now. So 240 knots for below 10,000 feet, and the plane will now idle itself, and then the speed should just happen. Should just start going down by itself then. Gradually anyway. See, there we are. We're not going off course on our speed or anything, so we're fine. Running lights can come on. You can see the plane now is starting to push back its vertical speed with the glides with our VNAV path doing the same thing. And you know what, I think we're going to actually... No, I'm going to stick to our arrival, even though it's a bit of a sharp turn. It's not actually supposed to be that sharp of a turn. I think this... Actually, it is. It's supposed to be practically like a full left turn. Okay, so the plane's made it under 250 knots in time for below 10,000. And then it should start introducing power now. There we go. So we're fully slowed down in time. And then this thing will start descending again now. So we're below 10,000. No need to report anything on Dublin traffic. Remember, we have a tower controller online. So that's who will be... Obviously that's who will be controlling the ground and everything at Dublin. And letting people know of... Because obviously he can probably see me on his radar now. Or I'll probably be quite close to it. If they zoom out. Right, I'm going to take it direct to Kogax now, I think. Just to shorten our arrival and make the plane a little bit more... hang on a minute. Boeing 757. I've never had this before. Alright, heading select then. The plane just decided it didn't want to start turning there. I've never had that before. Ever. What did I do differently? That's weird. It just didn't turn. Right, if I put it back in LMAV, will it? Yeah, LMAV is broken. Okay, that's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one. Never had that before. What if I press direct and then do that rather? There we go. Maybe that solved it. There you go. I think LMAV knows what we're doing now. I think we're okay. That was a weird one. I've always done directs like that though, and they've never had any issue. Right, down to 210 knots now. And we'll whack it into flaps 1 just to help the slowdown process, bringing a bit of drag. In the end, we've actually ended up following the procedure pretty much exactly because of how long it took us to do that turn. You know what, I'm just going to do vectors to Latmo. I'm going to do vectors myself, following the arrival, because it's not following it massively well, the plane. Because of, maybe I should have just not taken the direct and just left it. So this thing doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't take. So apparently now we're way too high, which I find interesting. Like, I mean, I didn't shorten the route much. But we've got the speed brakes out now, so we can properly descend. There, we're going to go LMAV now, look. So we're now properly on the route. And we're going to start slowing down 200 knots. Because this is now putting it, we've now got on a nice course that will allow us to intercept the ILS nice and easily, which is what we want. And we are also successfully slowing down. And wait, she'll just go direct to lap mode now. Again, that means it. Okay, so now look, we're on a perfect path. I've got myself around to a perfect path to intercept that. We're going to go over to the tower frequency now, 118.6. Won't contact them just yet. Oh, I forgot actually. I need to set my weather radar to +2, otherwise the weather radar will start picking up the ground, which obviously we don't want. We're not interested in ground, are we? We're interested in weather.
Line up on left, on 28 left.
And go flaps 5 now.
Line up on white, 28 left, Cyber 240.
And we'll track the flaps. No, not the flaps, the speed brakes. And we'll arm the speed brakes now, because I don't think we're going to need them again. And we can go ahead and arm the approach as well. And there you go, so you can see we're descending now quite nicely to get on course, although that will change now when we go ahead and set the pressure to 1034. That's a high pressure. I can't get it. I set it, there we go, done it. I couldn't set it accurately there then. So yeah, that added 600 feet to our altitude. There we go, 3054, and this thing is now going to continue to descend. And then once we're established, we'll go ahead and contact the tower. Just grab the ATIS now, make sure we've got the most up-to-date one. Information Charlie from 10:30 is the one that's currently online. The 11 o'clock weather is out, hasn't really changed. 6 degrees now, and the wind is now from 160 knots. So well, yeah, 160 degrees, I mean. 160 knots would be ridiculous. Imagine that was actually the wind. Hello in the chat, hope you're enjoying the stream. Just descending, perfect timing, into Dublin, literally a couple minutes from touchdown. 17 miles out. And this thing is, this thing's going to make 3,000 in time, I think.
Cyber 2400, wind 150 degrees, 7 knots, runway 28 left, cleared for takeoff. Bye-bye.
Give takeoff 28 left. Thank you very much
Oh, we're
for
going to
your
go through some
ATC.
cloud
It's
now.
been a pleasure flying with you, Cyber
It's very
2400.
cloudy
Bye-bye.
today.
No problem, enjoy the flight.
2,500 is set in there. Once we're established, we'll set 8,000. We need to set runway heading back to. We need to set heading back to runway heading, and then we'll set 3,000 once we're established on the ILS. In there, this can go on the airport chart now. We're not quite established yet. Anyway, we're still 3 miles away. I'll slow it down to 180 knots now, just so we can be a bit slower. Flaps 10 is actually set. I only meant to go as far as flaps 5, so I must have accidentally set that. Flaps 20 is what we're using for arrival. Landing speed is 134 and then plus 5, 139 is our landing speed. There we go, we're below the clouds now, so we should be pretty good. Speed brakes are armed. There. And then we should intercept the localizer any time now. In fact, there we go. As soon as I say that, we do intercept it. And I'm going to wait until we start descending below 3,000. We'll also go below 2... Actually, yeah. There we go. 10 nautical mile range on here, so we can just see a bit more of what we're doing. So you can see we're going back into the clouds now, so... Although we should descend below them quite soon. In fact, there you go. So we can see there's our runway, look. You can see the lights. I could see the lights briefly. You can see, there you go, there's the things that pop up. Dublin Tower, good morning. Skyways 7032 with information Charlie. Established on the ILS 428 left. And can we request a cargo stand for today?
Skyway 7032, the request is copied. A very good morning. Wind 160 degrees, 7 knots, runway 28 left, cleared to land.
Runway 28 left, cleared to land. Skyway 7032. Alright, there we go. Down to 160 knots. So we're beginning to start slowing ourselves down even more. And you can see we're waiting to intercept the glide slope still. We should intercept it about now. There we go, we've got it. So 3,000 can be set for go around. So this thing now start to descend now again. Looks like this flight will be slightly quicker than the 2 hours and 1 minute initially planned. There's the runway, look. And we're 6 miles out, so I'm going to drop it to final approach speed of 139. And gear down. And then we should hear that Lufthansa cargo at some point, depends on what arrival they're using, though. There we go, and flaps 20. There we go, I think we can disengage the auto pilot and the auto throttle. There we go. Ready. Start our descent. Well, not descent, what am I about? Landing. It's not descent. Descent started descending ages ago. Right, just so obviously speed brakes are armed, all brakes are set to 2. Quick recall check. We're good. And landing lights are on. Good. We're ready for landing.
Dublin Tower, Shamrock to Sierra Golf, good
There you
afternoon,
go.
and ready to check this.
So there's 3 planes on the ground by the looks of it. It's 2 Aer Linguses and an Etihad or something like that.
Shamrock
Give it a
28
bit more
Golf,
power, actually.
Dublin, hello, rated W5.
We'll just
Thank you
check
very
that we
much.
have got flaps 20 set, yeah.
1,000.
Difficult to know sometimes whether you've accidentally set like one more flaps position than you mean. It's like that with the... because all the planes are different, so obviously... Alright, there you go. Oh, a little bit high actually. I haven't noticed, but I thought I was descending quite a lot, but obviously maybe a bit of a steeper glide slope here. I don't know. No, we're coming back on course now. It's okay, and our speed is all right. Yeah, we're back on course now. Oh, a bit high again. Not great today. Oh, thought there was a bit of freeze there. That was... Oh, it's that... Get that feeling when the game freezes just before touchdown. You're like, ah! It's okay.
Minimums.
Just a freeze. There's minimums. Continue. I've been getting a bit better at touching down in X-Plane, so I'm hoping for this to be a good landing.
50. 40.
Idle the power.
20. 10.
Flare it. Minus 448. That's really rough, but that didn't feel like a rough landing. Well, there we go. There we go. We might actually make Sierra 4 here. Oh, no, actually, that was Sierra 4 back there, so we did miss it. So we've made Sierra 5 like planned then, actually. And disarm the auto brakes. Landing lights off.
Skyway 7032, vacate Sierra 5, taxi on Sierra.
Vacate Sierra 5, taxi on Sierra, Skyway 7032. There we go, hello, welcome everyone to Dublin. APU on. I always forget that in the 737 I use the yoke as the rudder, but I use a button on the yoke as the rudder in this thing, so I got a bit confused there for a moment. Right, APU on, everything, there's not actually a lot to do in this plane when you land. Stop the clock, obviously. 1 hour 58 minutes, so 3 minutes quicker than planned. I'm not going to turn the APU gen on just yet until the APU has fully fired up. Get the TCAS back to just that setting, and weather radar can come off. Hello and welcome everyone to Dublin. Yeah, I know. It did feel a lot smoother than a minus 448. If I did that in FSX, that would have been a really rough landing, a minus 448. So, doesn't matter though. He's obviously just misclicked because he's just clicking for takeoff. He's obviously misclicked there. He's obviously clicked the wrong plane and then sent a message cleared for takeoff. He's obviously meant to send it to Shamrock 1937.
7032, taxi Whiskey 2, and then stand of your choice on the west apron for cargo.
Whiskey 2, stand of choice on the west apron, thanks, Skyway 7032. Alright, so he's given us the west apron. I was initially planning the other cargo ramp, but doesn't matter, it's a cargo stand, so I don't care which one we get given. There is no specific stand, so yeah, Whiskey 2 and then stand of choice on the west apron. So we'll probably take stand 616 on the west apron. No, he's cleared the Shamrock for takeoff now. He must have, I think he clicked the wrong one. Right, here's Whiskey 2. No, actually, that's a shut taxiway that happens to look exactly like Whiskey 2. Good job we have all those signs around. Very, very high quality scenery in X-Plane, as usual. We got all the taxiway markings on the floor. Just default. I love that. Default scenery, and it has all the navigation things on the floor. Make it a lot easier to get around, and it looks pretty nice as well. And there you go, signed into the West Apron to help us. And then stand 616 we'll take. I'm not sure whether the stands in here will actually be marked in the West Apron. They might not be. And we might get to see that Lufthansa cargo. Yeah, the Lufthansa cargo looks like it's also taken the 2 X-ray because it's at 3,000 feet now. Right, there's no stand numbers here. So 616, I believe, should be this one here. Yeah.
Heavy, ILS 28 left. Let's get 3017 heavy tower, good morning.
Oh, actually, we'll disarm the speed brakes and retract the flaps. I didn't do that. There we go. And there we are, parked
Land, Leipzig, 3017.
in at the gate. APU gen can come on. And then we'll just park about here. Parking brake on, idle the power there. And there we go. Hello and welcome everyone to Dublin. Let's go ahead and turn off those engines. Engine bleeds can come off. AP bleed didn't actually turn off. And the isolation valve can come off, why not? And the left engine can come off as well. There's the plane switching on to APU power look, meaning that we can turn off these generators and the utility bus and the hydraulics and all that. Obviously it'll give us a ton of warnings now as everything gets turned off. Fuel pumps can come off and recirc fans can go off, and then we want to basically go into here now and we want to get chocks set. Release parking brakes, GPU, and then we'll connect onto the GPU then, meaning that the APU can come off, and stairs, loader units, open all our doors, there we go, and seatbelt signs off, doesn't really matter again, I mean, all the produce back there, get up now, you landed. I seriously can't understand. There you go, there's the Leipzig air. Look, this is what I mean. We saw this guy down in Leipzig, and then he's here as well. And you got APU generator off, fuel damper off, these can all come off. 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 Trim out off, these can go off. It's not minus temperature outside, so we'll turn off the window heats. Off, and the engine start switches need to be off as well. There we go, I think that's everything. Obviously we'll get a ton of warnings now. And then flight directors, right side, then the left side as well. I like to set the heading round just to, 000. I like to set it all to how it is when you spawn in. This is a pay rail add-on, yeah. This is the Flight Factor 757. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's a nice touchdown. Yes, this is the Flight Factor 757. It's actually quite pricey from what I remember. I think I got it in a sale. Although the sale might have just ended when I bought it. It might have been the A320 that I bought in the sale. Yeah, the tablets are cool. I like that. And there's also a plugin called AviTab that you can get. I think it might come with the Zebo, but I think you can also install it separately. And you can actually sign up with Navigraph in there. And also, this is actually a PDF reader. This isn't actually, even though it says it reads charts, it basically reads anything that's a PDF. So here you go, look, so you can see this is what comes with it, and it's basically just a PDF reader. So say I've done this before, so this is my flight plan. I downloaded it when I first got X-Plane, look, and here's the flight plan, look, from SimBrief. You download it as a PDF and then open it as a PDF. So it does act like a tablet, and that works with any plane. It's a plugin that you install. But yeah, I'm just grabbing the price of the 757. It's if you want to get the extended version, which is the one that comes with the freighter and the 300, that is $92. If you just want the 200 and not the freighter or the 300, I'm pretty sure that's what the difference is between the professional and the professional extended. That's $72. So I bought the freighter version with it, so $92. So it's quite pricey. I think it's maybe unlike PMDG and a lot of other things, that does count tax, which is rare for a lot of things sold in dollars. So it's 66 quid, £66. So it's quite pricey, but it's about the same as you'd pay for a PMDG aircraft. So. And I love Flight Factor's A320 as well. It's a really good A320, that. I think Flight Factor are quite good. Just stay away from their 777 because it's old. And they still charge full price for it, even though it is a lot lower quality. But there you go. Oh, pretty good parking, that, actually. Unintentional. But there we go, you can see everything being unloaded. We'll go ahead and stop the flight. FS 2020, honestly, at the moment, I'm staying away from it. There is a massive bug with the AI and the game crashing. The latest world update, from what I remember anyway, from when I tested it, didn't fix that bug. Or maybe it did, I don't know. I'm not even sure if I've played it since the update, but the thing is, even without the AI, I was watching a streamer play it a couple of weeks ago, and because he was using Pack X and an overlay, so it uses a couple of things through SimConnect and Vatsim, his game crashed. Once on pushback a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of weeks ago also during flight. So he switched back over to X-Plane. It's honestly, it's not... Oh, actually, the beacon lights turned off. But yeah, it's not ready. And then also, it's the quality of the planes. Like, if I wanted to run Microsoft Flight Sim on this PC with this same kind of graphics level, I'd be looking at 20 FPS. And even though it's not even a very detailed plane, this I've got a detailed plane. So I'm right now at Dublin with planes spawned in on Vatsim, with ground crew, with weather. 47 FPS. Well, I don't know, that's what I did. What I did was I was on FSX, and then I went to Microsoft Flight Sim initially, and then I decided, you know what, I've had enough, I'm going to X-Plane. And honestly, in this current state, X-Plane is far better than MSFS, and to be honest, because of how good the live weather is in X-Plane and the graphics, I honestly think it'll stay around for quite a while with MSFS as well. Yeah, I mean, I like FSX with payware. The issue I had is that, particularly flying on Vatsim, when you've got like 20 planes in the area, the game massively lags out. X-Plane, it lags out a lot. No, not X-Plane, FSX, I mean. FSX gets really laggy when you've got like 20, 30 planes. It doesn't matter what processor or graphics card you have, it'll just lag. But if you're not going to fly on Vatsim, and you just want to fly kind of just regular planes, it's fine. Also, one thing that made me move over to X-Plane is FSX is only 32-bit, which means if you do longer flights, like 7, 8, 9 hours, it got, on 2 occasions, the memory hit about 98%, which means that it got very close to crashing, and if I'd gone on a bit longer, it may have crashed. So, and then another thing is the scenery being out of date. The scenery, again, if you fly on a network, you want the scenery all to be up to date. In X-Plane, it is updated by the community consistently, so it means that it's typically all very in the right place and up to date. FSX is never up to date, and the airports are often in the wrong place. So, but if you're just doing offline flying with no AI or anything, or very little AI, FSX is fine, but fly on a network, and also, yeah, the quality of payware aircraft, there's more choice on FSX, that's one thing. That X-Plane suffers from not having any long-haul planes. No, X-Plane, I mean. Yeah, X-Plane doesn't have many long-haul planes. There's the Magnite 787, but it's all of poor quality. The Flight Factor A350, I think, it used to be rubbish, but I think they did a big update on it a couple of months ago, and I think it's quite good since then. I haven't used it, but I've heard that it's good. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to end the stream now anyway. Hope everyone watching enjoyed, and not sure what the next stream will be. Maybe next week, something like that. It'll probably be flying. Although it's iRacing Week 13 next week, so I think I'll be experimenting with that as well. It's good fun. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'm going to end it now. Bye!